While we're waiting for this to warm up, can I just see a show of hands of who's here for the stormwater discussion? Okay. And is anybody here for something else that we haven't already discussed? Oh, right, for Aaron Howe, right? Okay.
We want to apologize. We had to use a makeshift kind of projection here, so it's not the best, but we'll work with this. Again, we've been discussing this for some time, the council's goals and priorities. At this point, what we'll be reviewing, and council has received in their packet this evening, both the list of goals and priorities along with the action steps, a goals times table, and then a number of pages just puts all the goals in accordance with either departments or committees. And what I will do for the sake of time, because we've discussed this a number of times, the different goals and priorities, is just to highlight a number of the issues each page, and then take any questions that you may have. The one thing that on the first page here, one of the council goals that I want to just talk a little bit about, which ranked very high in the process, was to improve the website appearance and accessibility. We have started that process. There's a committee now involved in working and reworking the website process. We're now in the process of preparing an RFP for a new web design and working with our working group to do that. You can see the action steps that we have moving forward, including reviewing the RFP, and then eventually going out for web design. This is going to take us through most of the year to complete this process as we work through it. The next issue I want to talk about is the third item on the list, and that is the development of the Climate Action Plan. One of the things that we have found out, there is a potential opportunity for grant funding for this project. As a result, that grant funding opportunity, we will not know the answer to that until September. In the interim, we've created really developed a step, since we've already had the Sustainable Princeton Community Plan. We want to go back, take a look at that plan, see if there's action steps in that plan that we can review, while we're at the same time looking for the funding sources, and whether we can actually get the funding that we're looking for this process. Do I have any questions on these on the first page? We'll move to the second page.
Wait, I have a question on the first page. For evaluate and develop strategies for the use of municipal-owned properties, it's a responsible party as administration, and I think it might be good to have one or two council members involved in that. I don't know if other people feel the same way, but.
And what I will say, on some of these, and we can gladly put it on some of these, I just made the assumption that council would be involved, so if you see her missing, just let me know. I just made the assumption I may not have put it in the, as a responsible party, but we can add a committee in for this.
Okay, yeah, I think there should be some kind of subcommittee.
Mm-hmm.
Just to pile on to that, I think CFAC was also willing to take a look at that. This first item, Scott started, got you. But evaluate and develop strategies for the use of the municipal owned properties. That's also on CFAC's list.
Yes, you're right, it is. The next page, the other thing that I tried to do, as you can see, this list is 11 pages long. We have quite a bit of priorities and goals for this year. What I attempted to do this year is look at the projects and really try to break them down and identify those that I see as multi-year projects and try to create projects that we know we can accomplish in this year or a portion of their projects. So you'll see in some cases I've noted it's a multi-year project. That means we're only doing a phase of that this year, and we may do a phase of it next year. So one of the ones we're looking at was development, which is the first one, development of the town-wide document archiving system. And really we want to achieve this year really two major components. One is to review what our needs are. Two is for each of the departments to develop a report on what are their archiving needs and what are some of the alternative ways of producing those archiving needs. That goes back to a conversation we had at the previous meeting on the goals. And finally, at the end of the year, to have a multi-year plan on how we deal with document storage. Any questions on this page? First item here we have is the earned sick leave ordinance. This is one area where I just need some input from council. I know there's a subcommittee that's been working on the issue, so I don't have any dates. At this time, we really need to fill in that component, but I know that that's still being reviewed. There. The next item, which is the third one down that I wanted to talk about, was development and update the emergency shelter plan. We really broke that down to really dealing with one issue that we continue to have concerns with, and that's developing a shelter. So this will focus on developing a municipally controlled shelter, and that is providing a space where we have control over the shelter in which we could provide those services. One of the places that we're looking is the senior center as at one of those locations, actually providing a generator there and providing all the resources that we need to have a really functioning shelter at that location. So that's the goal for this year for the emergency shelter plan.
Oh, can I ask a question about that? Why, it seems like the schools have like showers and big rooms. Why can't we use one of the schools?
One of the things that, in talking to the emergency management coordinator, a lot of times the schools, you end up with a conflict, sometimes with the school, having schools and having it as a shelter. And it depends on, there's times where it's not a local, necessarily just one location may have an issue. When you use a school, you have a conflict between the kids going to school and the shelter in the same location. That's why you really want to kind of split it from the schools and use a location that you can control.
It's kind of a safety issue. You know,
Operating a shelter and operating a school at the same time usually creates a lot of conflicts.
Well, no, I can understand that, but this would be presumably an extreme emergency since we haven't ever had one before. So it seems, are we sure we need this?
But you also have those emergencies which are non-town-wide emergencies. You may have something where you need a shelter for certain residents within the community. So there's different times when you need it. You may need to use, or you may have to go, you may be operating schools, but still people need shelter. So you want to be able to have that option available to you.
Sandy, we had a shelter, right? Sandy was the,
We had a shelter at
Yeah.
the middle school,
right.
and there were, I think at most about 10 people who were sheltered there overnight, and cots were provided by the university.
But we
blankets were provided by the-
also housed workers who would come in to do some of the electrical and tree removal, et cetera, so they were also staying there.
Right, and I think some of the people actually stayed there, wanted to stay there after the schools reopened because their own houses were no longer habitable.
You know, it took a long time for people to get their power back. You know, for some it was as much as 3 weeks, so.
And what's important is not eliminate the use of schools. This is saying we have a municipally controlled shelter that we can use. That's all.
Well,
That's
but
eliminate.
I mean, does this mean we're gonna have to put in showers and
No.
plumbing and things?
No.
It just means, it just means a generator.
That's right.
Okay.
Any other questions on this page? And one of the major efforts that we're going to have this year, and this is the last one in this column, it will be completing the parking study. And we have the consultant on board, and you can see the outline for that. I'm not going to go through a lot of detail. You can see what the action steps are there. This is also going to be an important component as we also look at the meter fees. So we'll have to coordinate that in with this project when we get the data from this project.
Could I just jump in there, because what you don't have on here is that we expect a lot of ordinance work to come out of this parking study. And so I think that once after the public presentation in July or August, we hope that a lot of the stuff that we're going to discuss on next Monday night, we'll be able to start to address those pretty rapidly, but it will take a lot of time. I bet we'll have half a dozen new ordinances to come out of that parking study at least. I mean, Lee, Birch, Maple, we'll have a lot.
We can add another action step to that, which would be the ordinances.
Well, I just think when we're focusing on trying to plot our time and what we're going to be doing, I really think in the fourth quarter, we're going to have a lot of parking ordinances.
The item I'll highlight on this page is the development of a coordinated townwide GIS system. Currently, we do use GIS tools both in planning and in public works. What we're looking to do as part of this process is have a comprehensive coordinated effort for GIS. And that process will start with development with a GIS steering committee. And what we really need, and have a consultant come in to help us develop an implementation plan. And again, this will be a multi-year project. Any questions on this page? This page I'll highlight two projects, the last two projects, one being the approval of the design for the cold storage facility. And again, we've been working on this project actually for some time. First step of that process will be looking at what are design options that we will, Public Works Committee will recommend to the council for approval to be placed in the capital spending plan. And then the development of the designs and specifications. And we expect this not to be available for award until 2018. It'll take that long in terms of the putting the process together. The next item is to identify and make improvements to the public works facilities. And again, as part of last year, we did a lot of discussion about the building of a new public works facilities. One of the recommendations, and I believe it's coming from also from the public works committees, is we do need to make some improvements on our facilities. So first step in that process, they've identified a number of improvements. We need to prioritize those improvements and then identify which ones we will do this year and have that process begin. Questions? Next page. The next big item here, and it's something again that came up this evening, is completing the neighborhood character study group that we've been working on in project. And again, we expect to get the final report from the consultant very shortly, and at that point, we would then be looking at whatever the recommendations would be, either ordinance, revisions to the ordinance, amendments, or other items moving forward. We expect that to take us most of the year to go through that process. No questions? We'll move to the next page. On this page, I'm going to just highlight the middle one, which is preparing the master plan re-exam report, which will be a major effort through the planning department. And that is to prepare the re-examination report and then have the planning board conduct work sessions and hearings on that process, and finally approve the re-examination of the master plan. On this next page, two items that I'll highlight are the police reaccreditation process. That process has been moving forward quite nicely. They've completed the site assessment, and we're now in the process of that's being reviewed by the accreditation board, and we hope to have an answer to the reaccreditation process soon, so that's moving quite well. The next issue, they want to begin the process of the community park south improvements. As part of that process, we've broken this capital project into phases. The first phase of this project will really be looking at doing some work in terms of geotechnical work to determine what are the possibilities out on the site based on the site conditions. We expect to hire a technical consultant and then begin through the planning process for Community Park South for the improvements there.
So I have a question about something on that page.
Sure.
For the community, conduct the community survey by the police, didn't we just do that 2 years ago? Or it seems like we just did it.
I believe we did, and I know he wants to do it again after,
It was in 2013. It was right,
I thought it was right after
it was
consolidation.
right after, because it was Chief Dudek was the one who commissioned it.
And why are we doing it?
I think
I think it's keeping with best practices, if I'm not mistaken.
It is?
Yes. I believe for the police department.
I think he just wants to be responsive to the needs of the community, but I can.
Okay, I just, because
Yeah.
I don't know, it seems like nothing was earth-shattering from that survey. It was like, oh, people care about X, Y, Z, traffic, all the things. It seems like, I don't know if I hope we're not gonna hire somebody, or the police themselves aren't gonna be. The other thing is,
That's all
Well, it's
done.
an opportunity for them to go door to door, and I think that they did learn some things from the first one. I think
Yeah.
one of the ones that was not just even the answers to the questions, but the fact that they had prepared the survey in English and Spanish. They went door to door with a Spanish-speaking officer, and no one would return the survey. They didn't get any responses from anybody in the Spanish-speaking community, and I think they realized that there was an issue there, and they did a lot of outreach. And now I think we've gotten a lot of feedback that the relationship is really strong now. And so we have people who are reporting crimes and coming to the police department when they have problems, which is exactly what we want. So I think it can tell you a lot. And
it seems like
useful.
I had someone complain to me about the police going door to door, saying, someone came to my house and said, a police officer came and said, do you think we should have a safe community? I mean, or do you care about safety, or do you think we shouldn't have safety? So I do think there's a little bit of, for me, a little bit of worry about the police doing their own survey, not because, I think it might give us even more confidence if the police weren't doing the survey, because say the response rate was so low, well, maybe if we had other people going door to door who spoke Spanish and asking them about the police, they might be getting a better response.
Well, we should couple it with what's above it, which is the reaccreditation process, which has been seeking through an outside third-party reaccreditor public comment. So that is happening. I'm confident that is happening. I think this was part of just Chief Sutter's continued outreach, and continued quality improvement, getting feedback and always acting on it. But I think next time we have him on, we should have him talk about his plans and how much of it's door to door versus.
Yeah, I think we should, because I did get some feedback about the police going door to door. I don't know how usual that is.
Some people that are scared, I can imagine, yeah.
But I do think, if I'm not mistaken, some of this was Survey Monkey. I think it was the largest share of the responses. So the majority was not the police going door to door.
I'll get
They did
that
it a few times, but I think that the majority was the whole monkey survey and all that.
Next page, one item I will highlight, it's at the bottom of the page, and we're moving along nicely with the Sustainable New Jersey recreditation process. We've been working with the Green Team and Sustainable Princeton in that project, and it looks like we're on the right track for our reaccreditation at the silver level. Any questions on that page? Final page. Will be complete. I just want to explain this slide. We have a number of issues in terms of code consolidation. The major issue that we want to try to deal with this year is the land use code consolidation. You'll see that indicated first, and then after that, there are a number of projects, and I know the code committee has been very diligent going through a number of ordinances. Those will continue throughout the year, and that's just where we are in that process. And we don't have any questions. We'd just like to see the, once we have the, just need the resolution to approve the council's goals and priorities for 2017.
I'll move it.
It's a motion for Resolution 1787.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Howard, seconded by Mr. Lieberman. Any discussion?
Could I make a comment? We've been doing this now, is this our 5th year or 4th year doing this? And we've been tweaking it every year. I think this has been sort of my least favorite year because I don't feel council's had a good chance. It feels like it's been presented to us a lot. We had some meetings with our BCCs. I'm still not certain that we've gone through and made sure that each BCC is doing work that is really helpful to us. You know, sometimes I have a little sense that we've got the tail wagging the dog, and I also feel like, I mean, it's not going to be my issue anymore, but I would like to see people who have been elected have a little more say, I guess, in what's important to you as a leader, what you'd like to see get done, what you would like to see as a priority, and have council members sort of put forward what's important to them. I also think we're putting an incredible amount on staff, and I just don't know that these charts have taken into account whether or not staff can get all of this done. I think if I worked at the municipality and I looked at this list, I might freshen up my resume and see if I could get a job in another town. This is just an incredible amount of work, and I think that, you know, if we can get to it, great. I think it's an awful lot to expect of people. I guess I would have liked to have seen more input from the people who have to do this work. It's one thing for us to say, you know, gee, we want to do all this, but it's another thing whether the people we're asking to do most of the work can actually get it done.
Well, I know in the planning department, Jenny, Tim, myself have sat down with Lee, and I think we've gone through the list because there is a lot on
And we
planning
have to
in
go outside to
particular.
get it done.
And I think that was part of the discussion we had with council, that we are going to need to spend some extra resources to get some outside consulting help to get through all these projects, but the feeling was that there was a cost to putting them off a year or two, as we've heard. And so I think that
But when we get, you know, the land use is going to take us a lot of time up here. I think if we start, you know, to map out what's going to come to the dais, we already have a lot of late nights, it appears, when we have, you know, as we try to wrap up the rest of the ordinances that the ordinance committee is working on. If we get the parking ordinances, we'll have all of those. We have the land use, there'll be some controversial issues there. It's a lot.
Right. That's why we get paid the big bucks.
Okay.
Mr. Miller?
I'd like to know what the plan is to review this before this time next year. I think putting all of these projects in front of the staff and in front of the council and waiting a year to review where we stand in terms of the progress we're making, it's not a good way to manage the projects. And I think we need to look at it more frequently than once a year.
I would do the quarterly reports.
Last year, we'll continue that process. Last year, we did the quarterly reports. I would just say, in this case, because it's March already, probably do our first report in June would probably be a good report, or April.
Well,
To do our first report and kind of where our progress is. But you will have regular reports. We did the same thing last year.
many of these things, though, too, for this year, until we pass the capital budget, they can't get started. So we'll probably pass the capital budget by the end of April. And so when you look, like, off the top of my head, the community park, you can't really get started on that until it's funded through the capital budget. We can't really get going on that until the capital budget's passed. So you're really looking at trying to do a lot of these things, not just even a year span, but in 8 months.
I'd also like to suggest that maybe when we come around and reviewing them, review them by exception, rather than go through the entire list of projects and say, this one's on schedule, this one's on schedule, this is on schedule. Let's pick out the ones where we're having difficulty holding to our schedule and review the exceptions rather than the rule.
That's a good idea. Okay, and then, one last comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to respond to Joe's comment about the process. I do feel like it's hard for us to deliberate. There's so much pressure even right now for me not to say anything because we want to get through the meeting. And I wondered if next year we could somehow have, I think, a morning meeting at 8 a.m. or something for us to have a roundtable discussion, because I do think the best decisions are often, debated a lot and discussed a lot. And I mean, this year I felt like we didn't have a whole lot of time to really talk amongst ourselves about it. And because the shape of this diocese, we determined that it's too expensive to fix it. But it's even hard to have conversations up here because I'm looking down at the end and I can't even see, right now, I can't see everybody, so.
All right, just to let people know, this process did start in October, so I know there's some people I'm looking at, we're at some of those meetings that we've had with the board, committee, and commission chairs. We started the discussions back in October. We had two morning meetings, where we had the discussion, we brought it back to council. We had input from everybody up here in terms of what they wanted on the list. We've discussed it twice as a council. This is, I think, our third time as a council. So I think we can always improve, and I agree that sitting around a table does lead to better discussion, and I think that we'll keep making it better every year. I'd like to see the time condensed in terms of like from October to this point
I agree.
to have it be faster, but there's a lot of other competing priorities. So
And
with that,
I do agree that those meetings those roundtable meetings were had were really, with the community, were really valuable. I don't want to diminish all the discussion.
and I do want to say that it's been moved and seconded. Unless somebody has something dying that they want to say, I would recommend that we vote on this. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the resolution's approved.